Hi everyone, Shai here. I hope all of you are doing good. Welcome to another new video. In a time when even basic activities like breathing seem expensive, and everyday tasks like grocery shopping or paying rent have become extremely costly, it's important to remember that not all places are this expensive. Despite the global rise in rent and mortgage rates, there are still places where affordable living is possible, unlike in places like New York. Here are some of the cheapest places in the world. Number 1. Social housing complex in Germany. Fuggerei doesn't look all that dissimilar from other housing complexes in Germany or other countries, but this one differs from most. You can rent a house here for only 88 cents a year. Now, you might think we're mistaken, but it's no lie. For nearly 500 years, this social housing complex in Augsburg, Germany, has provided next to free housing for those who need it most. It all began in 1516 with Jacob Fugger. Jacob was a wealthy merchant in the city of Augsburg whose family started by trading woven goods in the city before quickly becoming one of the most affluent. Over the years, they became known for their vast wealth and huge real estate portfolio, but they also became known for their family values. Jacob, in particular, wanted to give back to the community because he felt a great deal of social responsibility. He decided to donate land to develop a social housing complex, and the resulting Fuggerei housing complex was born in 1521. This is a fully enclosed community, but there was a catch. Residents had to be Catholic citizens of Augsburg, and they had to be well reputed. Once successful in their housing applications, the new residents also had to abide by the PM curfew and pray for the prosperity and health of the Fugger family 3 times per day. Jacob also set up a charitable trust, and this trust, even nearly 500 years later, still covers some of the complex's associated costs. Today, some rules have been relaxed, but 142 residents living in this social housing complex still enjoy the same low rent payments all these years later. Number 2. SZEGED. If you find yourself with itchy feet and want to live somewhere beautiful and affordable, set your sights on southern Hungary. Here, you'll find the picturesque city of SZEGED, known for its vibrant culture, beautiful parks, and striking architecture. Sure, these things would typically come at a high cost, as they do in places like New York, but SZEGED is different. This Hungarian city is known for providing many life conveniences and a beautifully diverse community while still being affordable. The economic cost of living in SZEGED is hands down one of the standout attractions of this city. The standard of living is high, yet it doesn't cost the earth to maintain it. Everything from food and transportation to housing and entertainment is affordable. Whether you're vacationing in SZEGED or plan to lay down roots, you'll definitely be surprised by this city's affordability. And while you're busy getting more bang for your buck, you can also set yourself up for success on the educational front. This charming and serene city has the highly regarded University of SZEGED. Not only is it famous in Hungary, but it's also respected internationally, especially for its undergraduate and graduate programs in science and medicine. Number 3. Madrid. Madrid is the central capital of Spain and a popular tourist destination for its many manicured parks, European art, and historic architecture. Visitors won't find it all too challenging to travel around Madrid on a shoestring budget. With many eateries offering cheap food, no shortage of budget-friendly accommodation providers, and low-cost transportation costs, it's almost like nothing is out of reach even if you don't have much money to spend. Now, vacationing is one thing, but what if you were to live in Madrid? Well, you might find that living in this beautiful city is more affordable than you first thought. If we compare New York to Madrid, the differences are substantial. A meal at an inexpensive restaurant in New York would set you back $25, with the same meal being around $13 in Madrid. Consumer prices in Madrid are at least 48% lower than in New York, while rent prices are an incredible 72% lower. You would also spend more than 50% less on groceries in Madrid than in New York. While a gallon of milk in New York might set you back $5.21, it's more than $1 cheaper in Madrid at $4.18. No matter where you shop, basic staples just seem to be more affordable. A $4 loaf of bread in New York is about $1.25 in Madrid, and a pound of local cheese that costs $8.4 in New York is just $5.5 in Madrid. Even if you've never considered moving to Madrid before, these huge cost differences might just make you think about it. Before moving on to the next point, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you all to my merchandise. You can support my content by getting your favorite products from my store or by simply joining my channel. Your support means a lot to me. Now, let's get back to the video. Number 4. Bacolod. The Philippines Bacolod is an urbanized city in the Philippines that's home to more than 600,000 people. This first-class city attracts some of the wealthiest people in the country, or maybe it's just because living there is so cheap you can't help but be wealthy when everything is so affordable. Sure, most people living in Bacolod only earn $217 after tax, but imagine if you were a top earner, you'd have so much disposable income that the options would be endless for how you can spend it. Heading out for lunch would only cost you around $2.2, while your rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the city center would be a mere $344. Even family living isn't expensive, with a three-bedroom apartment in the city center costing around $446 for 860 square feet of space. Then there's the cost of everyday living essentials like groceries and transport. A liter of petrol is only around $0.88, while a taxi ride would only set you back $2.74. Head to your local grocery store and you could pick up a quart of milk for $0.57, 1.1 pounds of bread for $0.18, and 2.2 pounds of cheese for $8.3. Fancy steak? No problem. Your local grocery store in Bacolod would probably have it available for $6.24 per 2.2 pounds. With the average cost of living at $552, you probably won't be surprised to learn that Bacolod is in the top 14% of the least expensive cities anywhere in the world. Number 5. Dhaka, Bangladesh. There's no denying that the city of Dhaka in Bangladesh is chaotic, with 17 million people calling it home. If you don't like crowds, the promise of cheaper rent or more affordable grocery items is not going to make you want to move there. But suppose a lower cost of living did make you consider relocating to Dhaka? Well, you'll be packing your bags before long when you realize just how affordable this city is. Dhaka is in the top 8% of the least expensive cities in the world, with the average cost of living sitting at $464. Some families in the United States would spend that on childcare alone. If you went out for lunch with friends, a $2 coin would see you with at least 3 cents change, and you could quench your thirst with a Pepsi or Coke for 28 cents. Even accommodation in Dhaka is affordable, with many people paying $175 for a one-bedroom apartment in the city center or $343 for a three-bedroom apartment. If you're living alone, you likely won't get a shock utility bill in the mail. Most individuals only spend around $23 for electricity, heating, water, and other utilities. It's out of control how affordable this city is. Number 6. KAMPOT, Cambodia. Most of us could only dream about living in a riverside retreat. We know such locations are reserved for the rich and famous. But what if they weren't? You could live on the ocean's doorstep in KAMPOT, Cambodia, and still afford to live comfortably. KAMPOT is the largest city in Cambodia, but it sure doesn't feel like it. It's a laid-back location with colonial-style buildings and locals who spend much of their time hanging out riverside. Anyone looking to get back to basics and save more of their hard-earned money might like to call KAMPOT home. According to many online sources, the average single person could live comfortably in KAMPOT for just $800 a month. You might even be able to live a life of luxury for less than $1,100. How much things cost in this beautiful Cambodian city is downright shocking, but in a good way. A furnished two-bedroom apartment is typically no more than $300 a month, while groceries and general household goods are a mere $250. You might also only spend $80 on electricity, which includes air conditioning use, and $25 for a maid to clean your house so you don't have to. Even health insurance is affordable at just $100 a month, and getting around by tuk-tuk and motorbike is only about $20 a month. Number 7. Cairo, Egypt. If you've ever wanted to live in a nation's capital city but know they're out of reach because they're typically quite expensive, consider moving to Cairo, Egypt. Out of 55 capitals around the world, Cairo is known as the cheapest based on data surrounding healthcare, petrol, the cost of living, and consumable products. According to research by the German Deutsche Bank, the cost of going on 5 dates in Cairo is comparable to just 1 date in Zurich, Switzerland. It would also cost you 10 times more to rent an apartment in New York than in Cairo. What's more, you'd pay 3 times more for public transport in New York than in Cairo, costing just $0.8 to travel 5 kilometers in a taxi. If you're a smoker, living in Cairo for that reason alone would make sense. A pack of cigarettes is a quarter of the cost of those in New York. In saying that, there might be a reason why it's so cheap to live in Cairo. You likely won't get paid much. They have among the lowest monthly incomes, with workers being paid an average of $26 per month. So, that was all for today. I hope you have watched the video up to this timestamp. Make sure to press the like button if it amazed you. Press the subscribe button if you still haven't subscribed to the channel, as it's totally free. You can follow me on all social media platforms. All links are given in the description. You can also watch other cool stuff. The playlist link is also mentioned in the description. I will catch you up soon in the next video. Till then, peace out.